my golf fanatics, it's Billy Ho back again for another weekly PGA course preview, DraftKings first look, one and done, all that kind of good stuff. You're going to see some rinse and repeat a little bit because due to the fire damage in Los Angeles, we're not playing the Genesis at Riviera this year. We are jumping over to La Jolla, California, Torrey Pines, where we just played the Farmers a couple of weeks ago. But this will be completely different format. We'll have a lot of things to discuss, so stay tuned. Signature 80 main event, so no cut, South course all four rounds, no North course. Course preview, fantasy national stats coming your way. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You're smashing that like button, and please share on social media and tell a friend. Have that friend tell a friend about Billy Ho Sports, horse racing, Kentucky Derby, all kinds of good stuff. Totally nailed the Super Bowl. Eagles blew them out. So let's get in. Also, support the contest too. I have a weekly PGA contest on DraftKings. Link will be posted as soon as pricing's out. It's not out yet. So the stats we're going to be looking at will be sorted by the DraftKings Sportsbook. So that gives you a pretty close measurement. I'll take that as a second place to the actual DraftKings pricing. So getting into the course, obviously long and difficult golf course. If you want to go back and look at the Farmers course preview, the first 5 minutes of my previous video, that'll give you all you need to know. Just ignore the stuff about the North course. We're doing 700 or 7,765 yards, the par 72. Narrow fairways, the thick Kikuya rough. The we'll get to the greens. They're about 5,000 square feet, pure POA, and it is that kind of coastal West Coast POA greens that do get a little bit chewed up during the day, can grow in the sunlight and be putting a little bit on the different side later in the day if it's sunny, but we'll get to the weather in a minute. And that is going to be very important. We just saw how tough it could play a couple weeks ago when the wind kicks up because they had to suspend play on Friday because the ball would not hold still on the green. Winds would kick up, especially even the North course. The North course is supposed to be a little bit more sheltered from the wind, but it actually played slightly more difficult, but almost four over par on both the North and the South course on that Friday. So for the North course to play four over par, you know that wind was bad. It was just so dry and firm. The ball would just start rolling on the green, and you can't keep fluid play when you have to keep stopping and replacing your ball on the green. We're not going to have that to worry about. There's the big weather news right now is that right around Wednesday through Thursday and Friday, significant amount of rain incoming. We're talking 3/4 of an inch, half inch at times. Spike in the wind, wind gusts 10 to 20 mile an hour. That's going to have an effect. But I'd say if we're going to get that much rain, which could be an inch and a half of rain, Wednesday into Thursday, we're going to be in for a very soft golf course, which is going to be completely flipped from the way it was a couple of weeks ago. Now, we liked bombers a couple of weeks ago. That would be logical. If it's a softer golf course, less run out, bombers are going to have more of an advantage. People with the longer ball flight, I'm going to go through that. I probably won't have time to show you here. Maybe if I do, we'll jump over to the PGA website and look at who has the longest carry distance, because that helps. If you can carry it 320 yards, then it bounces and you get a 5 yard rollout, or you carry it 275 yards. You're not going to get the rollout. So anyway, long story short, let's jump over to Fantasy National, look at those stats. And this is from the Farmers, and this is Torrey Pines. You can see how difficult the golf course is. The par fives are pretty reasonable. That is where you absolutely have to make birdies, because these long par fours, the ones that run from 450 to 500, which there are numerous ones, will bust your butt. So this is the one of the things I wanted to look at was Obviously, approach the around the green and scrambling is going to come into play a lot more. Because if you're in the playing out of the rough and it's wet, going to be very difficult to advance the ball very far. So maybe look at down here a little bit. I was looking at approach shot distribution. You might see an uptick in the 75 to 100 range because guys aren't going to be able to get the ball down the fairway if they're in the rough too thick in that Kikuya. The other one I thought we might see a lot more of is you already see a lot of 175 to 200. There's your average, and you can see the spike. If the ball is not running out as far, we're already hitting almost 20% 175 to 200. So if the ball's not flying as far and you're not getting as many runouts, this might dip a little bit 150 to 175, and this might go up to about 22 or 23. I don't know if it's a big enough spike to make much of a difference, but I'm going to pay a little bit more attention on the longer irons. The unpredictable Poa greens kind of even the playing field for Team No Putt. That is definitely true. The rain's going to soften the golf course, so the green speeds will be highly affected. They won't be like lightning or fast like they normally are, so they might be a little bit easier to putt on than normal. Like I said, the rough's going to be more difficult. Obviously, driving accuracy is going to be way down. I'm giving a big bump to driving accuracy, fairways gained this time around. I didn't really get into that too much last time, but I think with the possibility too. Remember this: ball in hand or lift clean in place, preferred lies, however you want to call it. If it's that wet on the golf course, the PGA may institute that. So you're going to want to be in the fairway so you could do that lift clean in place because that makes things 1,000 times easier. So getting over into the modeling for the first time. And this is kind of a genesis. I started out with the model I had from 2021, which was the 2021 US Open, and that is a good course history model to predict because I think obviously they set it up to play a lot more difficult with US Open setup, but it could play that difficult if the weather doesn't cooperate. So I started with that model and then I morphed it into kind of more of a rain situation. This first bottle, I used green soft firmness on the green over the last couple of years, just to give you an idea on who. Obviously, Scotty's always going to be great, but Corey Connors. We'll look at the mixed condition model in a minute, and I'll go through looking at some proximity numbers too. But Corey Connors, guys that are really good with those long irons, and even if you can't hit it far, it's not going to matter when the golf course is soft because the greens are going to hold. You're going to fly. You might be flying it in from 205, but you stick it and you're not going to get the ball bounding off the back of the green on you. You're not going to catch those flyers. Balls that land on the green are going to stick better. So that's what you got to keep in mind when you go through it. And when we're looking at the first model, I'm going to remove the green firmness because that's something you could play with on your own. Just do different things because of the last 2 years and all that. What I like to do, my first model is go recent form. So what I do is I set up last 24, and then I'm going to set this up for 2 months. That takes us back to mid-December, basically. And there wasn't a lot going on then. So basically, this is your entire 5 week tournaments of 2025. So that's what I wanted to see. So if we sort by salary, that is going to be 350 is what Scotty Scheffler's odds are. Rory McIlroy is going to be a big influence on this tournament. There's going to be some decisions made up top because he's going to get a nice price coming off the win he had. So 7-1 on him, 14-1 Morikawa, Decky, and then Thomas Ludwig. You can see the odds of these guys in a small field. It's going to affect the odds. Obviously, you're only going to have 75 entries, so that's what we're looking at. And this is another important stat is going to be tee to green. So fairways gained this year Daniel Berger. I've got some stats to go over about the 2021 field too. So let's go back over to Scotty. We're going to start there. The debate every week is going to be should you just play all in, Scotty, or others? I think that you can. I mean, he's going to be absolutely dangerous in every tournament. So I think it's dealer's choice. I don't think it, of course, it's hard to tell last week because Scotty did kind of make a run, but then he kind of fell off on Sunday, which is unlike him. So he might just be back to like the best golfer in the world, not like the elitist best golfer, where he's going to win 6 times. He might win once or twice this year, and he's still going to almost top 10. He's going to be a threat to top 10 every single golf tournament, basically, what it is like he did last year. 2021, Scotty came in seventh. So that's kind of interesting. There are other guys down the line here. Harris English, I'm going to have a lot of interest in. He's 50-1. He won here just a couple of weeks ago, right? Under really tough conditions, grinded it out. That's how he does it. Well, if he's back to the form he had when the US Open was here, he came in third in 2021. So that tells you how good he was back then. He was winning tournaments. Believe he won Travelers. He won back-to-back tournaments, I think, in the fall. He was really on a roll, and then he had some injuries. He had a this I don't know, a hip injury basically. But FYI, Rory was seventh that year. Morikawa was fourth. Berger was seventh. Spieth and Thomas T19. Those are just notable names. The other guy that I'm looking forward to seeing more of is Gary Woodland. He appears to be finally getting back, rounding back into form. But the most important thing, you can see he ranks 11th in the model. Driving distance, he just still hammers it off the tee. But 23rd in fairways gained, which is very good. And 11th tee to green. So his tee to green game has been awesome. Not taking advantage of the par fives like he should. That is a little alarming as he's really bad from 5 to 10 feet. So that's going to be a problem here at Torrey because that's where a lot of the most important putts for par and birdies are made, and that's probably why he's hadn't had the greatest record here. But I tell you one thing he has done a lot better as we pull up his stat profile is he is putting the ball better this year and probably a lot of practice over. You can see how bad he was in 2024, all this red, and that caused. But you can see how good he was, even losing 5, 6, 5. He still made cuts. 37th at the 3M Open, but he gained 8 strokes on approach. The dude can fire the irons. Sanderson Farms 7.5, and a top 10 finish at Shriners in 2024 and he of course he gained strokes putting that week. But back up here, this is his 2025, 16, 22, 21, all pretty good finishes for him. Just about a neutral putter. If we get a neutral putter out of him, then we're rolling very well because you can see his ball striking. He had his best ball striking week combined at Wimpo. So he is going to be very good, even though he didn't play Farmers this year. I think he's going to be an excellent choice as a guy who should be a good price on him. I would say another model to look at. This is the just difficult to scoring on par, and you can see the last 24 rounds for these guys. And Scotty, Rory, all the top names up top. I like Akshay up here. Akshay, I don't recall how he did at Farmers. I thought he played, maybe he didn't play Farmers. So his record, so 13th in 2024 at Farmers, which is encouraging. We don't know if he did all his damage on the North course or not, but Akshay could be an interesting cat at this golf course. He's really good scrambler. He's really good on difficult. Obviously, he ranks out very high here. Tommy Fleetwood ranks out pretty high here. Uh, I'm not sure about the Finals, the Burns, and the Henleys yet. Victor Hovland, I think, is rounding back into form. This is a great course for him. I feel like a good setup for him as well. I wanted to see his past Farmers record and see what he's got going on because we know he had his struggles at the end. You want to call them struggles? You know, he missed some cuts here and there in major championships. He probably just had a bad major year. Really, he missed the cut at all the majors. There's Masters, there's U.S. Open, there's the Open. So the third at the PGA Championship, which is the easy golf course, was the outlier there. But I mean, he still had the second at the FedEx St. Jude. He finished 12th in the Tour Championship. And then, of course, he was just struggling a little bit over the fall with a few injuries. He busted toe. I think he had another slight injury as well. But if we go to Farmers, you can see well, that's Wells Fargo. Definitely don't want to get confused there. There, that's 2021. That's second at Farmers. And I do believe 2021 was, yes, the US Open. So Victor Hovland is going to be in the player pool. Jump on in. Hideki, always love him on tough courses. He's having his one of his better statistical years coming out. Wyndham Clark showed signs of life. He's bomber, gouger, uh, notoriously good POA putter. So we're going to put Wyndham Clark back in the mix. And I could go down here all day long. Shane Lowry, you get him in the rough weather and he's trouble. He won the US or he won the Open over in Scotland or not Scotland, Ireland a couple of years back in the driving rain. So he's a guy that plays good in the rain. You saw Kenny Kim from the Fantasy Degenerates when it got nasty. He went to Shane Lowry. Lowry pushed. That was the week Rory won, but Lowry was really pushing the front end of that. And I think this is a great course for Lowry because he hammers it off the tee. He's really accurate. This is difficult courses, so fairways gained. So let's just take off the difficult and then we'll go back to our normal. Let's just go last 18 months. So that way we're not going back like 5 years. This could be still considered form. You know, the guy played this good this time last year, then good on him. So yeah, JT, I think he had a really good finish to his tournament, obviously holding out from the 18th fairway to end the tournament with an eagle, but he really looked like he was going to win that golf tournament last week, and he just sputtered in the middle. That Saturday round of 70 was a killer. Obviously lost the all four under 70 bonus in DraftKings, but he shot himself kind of out of the tournament that week. If he would have just shot a few under par, he would have been really in a much better shape, obviously. So Gary Woodland, we discussed. I think he's been putting positive lately. Uh, got about 20 guys that I'm really interested in right now. Here's I've listed about Taylor Pendrith was the one that I failed to mention. Really good course fit. Little struggle bus around the green and sometimes not always in the fairways, but he has been a lot better recent form wise. You can see this is the last 18 months, 24 rounds, and this is, I believe, the last 2 months, 24 rounds. So if we reload this and we go find Pendrith, he's 13th over the last 2 months. That's 16 rounds. So you can see how much better he's playing. And you can see all the ones, tee to green, greens gain, par fives. That's all very good. He won't go unnoticed. So Pendrith is in the pool. Spieth, I think, has proved himself worthy. I'll take a look at him. Jason Day didn't putt well here, but he plays well here. Sticking with him. I don't know about Zalatoris. He would be good here. We'll check him off and see what his status is coming up because he had to withdraw. I don't know if he's having some injury problems or he was sick. The flu bug was going around the last couple of weeks. Ludwig Oberg was a very, very popular choice at this tournament, but he got sick. He actually he spilled over into two tournaments where he had to withdraw because he was just dog sick. Bobby Mack, another guy I love to play, fairways gained, bombs it, lefty, uh, getting it done. So Victor Hovland will check off as well. And we'll move down here a little bit more. I want to take a look. Cameron Young was my one and done pick. So let's go ahead and move into one and done. And then we'll see here. Would this be a good if the way Rory's playing, he's probably going to be uber popular. So this is a signature event. So this is where you want to unleash one of these guys. And the way Rory's playing, I always like playing Rory on wet golf courses because he's been notoriously good at that as well. So I had a big win at Bay Hill a couple of years back when he just ripped through that course on a wet weekend to win going away. So JT, I'm going to keep him in the mix, and we'll check off Hideki. There's your even 20. So one and done. I am going to be looking at a big dog, maybe firing up Rory. Who knows? But that's all I've got for you this week. So best of luck to you, and we'll see you soon.